Hey guys, what's up? It's Cody. So, getting close to my year on testosterone, and I've kind of just been thinking back of what it was like when I first started testosterone and just kind of reviewing the year. And so, I don't know how long you've been following me, but if you've been following me from the beginning, you would know that when I first started testosterone, I was in a relationship. That relationship did not work out. I think that when you are starting testosterone in a relationship, maybe you are someone who's thinking about starting testosterone, but you're in a relationship and you're afraid of how this person is going to see you going through these changes or how it's going to affect your relationship. And I think the biggest mistake is probably going into transition and thinking that you're not going to change at all. There's obvious physical changes that are going to happen, but there are some emotional changes that you're going to go through. Honestly, like you are going to have some emotional changes. You are going to be different, but you're not going to be a completely different person. Basically, through what I've experienced with testosterone, it's kind of like testosterone reveals that underlayer that you've always had with you, but as you grow more comfortable with yourself, you're more comfortable with expressing that other layer that you've always kind of hidden away and things like that. So it's not this complete overhaul of like, you're a new person, I don't know you. So don't worry that that's going to be the case, but there is going to be some adjustment. So just think about that. When you're starting testosterone within a relationship, there are going to be differences and adjustments to make and things like that. When I look back to when I was first starting testosterone, like the biggest changes and differences that I noticed at first was I did have some mood shifts. And I know that I felt afraid to show if I was in a bad mood or if I was having some sort of mood shift. Because I mean, think about it, like you're going through puberty. Think of how moody you were when you were a teenager. Like it's the same thing. It's not any different. So you can't always help it. And so I was afraid to show if I was in a bad mood, and it almost made it worse on me because it was just like I just felt like I needed to hide or isolate or just like kind of crawl up into myself because I didn't want people to blame the testosterone and just have it be this stereotypical case of like testosterone rage. And like I never had any sort of rage or anything. It was just like when I first started testosterone, I was really tired a lot. And I think that had a lot to do with my dose. My doctor started me off on a pretty high dose to start. So it was kind of a shock to my body. So I needed to sleep a lot. I was tired. And so there's still two things that make me grumpy now, and that is being tired and being hungry. So that's not any different. My moods have definitely leveled out. I think a lot of people go through the puberty mood shifts at the beginning of starting testosterone. And don't be afraid. Like, it's normal, you guys. Don't be ashamed of having mood swings. It's no excuse to be like abusive or anything like that in a relationship. Like, I am not saying that at all, but if you are feeling cranky or grumpy, like, it's okay. It's gonna happen. Don't be afraid of it. And just make sure that it's something that you think about before starting testosterone within a relationship or something that you communicate with to your partner and talk about it or talk about how to deal with it when it happens. Maybe you just need some alone time or you need to work out. Just do what you need to do. Self-care, things like that. What else? Some more adjustments that you probably want to think about when you're starting testosterone in a relationship is if you started out as a lesbian couple, it's going to be an adjustment for your partner to kind of move from identifying as a lesbian to being seen as like a straight heterosexual couple in public. I mean, they don't have to stop identifying with being a lesbian. It's their own choice. Um, but they're gonna have to adjust to how you're seen in a public setting. People are, you know, it's not you're not gonna have that queer visibility anymore. I mean, if that's not an issue, then sweet. But people who have identified as queer or lesbian for a long time, it could be a little bit of an identity crisis or things like that. So just make sure that you are always communicating about that. And yeah, so communication is key. And I know emotionally for me, I felt emotionally constipated a lot at first. It's just almost like the chemistry in your brain, like things are changing. I know that I just like had a really hard time even knowing what I was feeling. Um, it just seemed to happen so quickly. There's just a lot of things going on, like you're coming out a lot when you first start testosterone, and you've got physical changes going on. You're dealing with all sorts of feelings of, how your family is accepting you, or how work is accepting you, or people are misgendering you or calling you the wrong name, things like that. So it's a lot to take in at once. Just something to talk about when you're starting off. And yeah, I guess this is just advice for those of you who are starting testosterone at all. This is a little bit what to expect if you're starting it, going into a relationship, and things like that. My relationship didn't make it, but it does not mean that yours is not going to make it. So my advice to you is just to communicate and be realistic about emotional changes, physical changes, all of the emotions that are going to surround the beginnings of coming out, name change, surgeries, lots of things, so many things. So just be realistic about it, and I think you're going to be okay. All right. So, yeah, now that I've rambled on enough, that is it, guys. And I will see you next time. Peace out.